I get it, you've spent hours scrolling through endless listings, seeing glossy photos of a shuffleboard table that looks like it belongs in a high-end bar, and then you're left wondering whether the thing will actually fit in your basement or living room without turning the space into a clunky obstacle course. The biggest fear is that you'll spend a few $100s on a piece of furniture that looks amazing online but ends up feeling like a Nicito have that never gets used. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've been there, so in this review I'll walk through the practical side of the plank and hide Fulton Shuffleboard table and point out the hidden trade-offs before you click add to cart. First off, the most common hesitation I hear from people who love the idea of a home shuffleboard set is the question of size. The Fulton model comes in a 9-foot length, which is a middle ground between the 12-foot and 14-foot versions you see on the market. It's big enough to feel authentic, you get that long, smooth run for the pucks that makes each shot feel satisfying, but it still demands a fair amount of floor space. In a typical family room or a dedicated game room, you'll need at least a 12 by 15-foot area to keep the table centered and still have room for players to move around. If you're living in an apartment or a small basement, you'll probably end up having to slide the table against a wall and lose that open play feeling. That's the first red flag. Measure your space and make sure you have clearance on all sides, otherwise you'll spend more time wrestling the table into position than actually playing. Now, let's talk about the surface. The Fulton uses a maple butcherblock top, which is a step up from the particle board or MDF tops you see on cheaper alternatives. Maple is hard, dense, and gives a consistent glide when you apply wax. The good news is the table ships with a bottle of wax sand and 8 pucks 2 colors, so you can tell teams apart right away. In my own testing, after a quick wipe down with the supplied wax, the pucks slid smoothly and held a steady speed across the whole length. That consistency matters when you're trying to get a decent score without spending a fortune on a separate wax kit. The downside is that wax sand needs regular reapplication, especially in humid rooms where the surface can absorb moisture and become a little sticky. If you're looking for a table that you can set up once and forget, you'll need to budget a little extra time for periodic waxing. One thing people often overlook is the weight of a full-size shuffleboard table. The Fulton's maple top, combined with a solid steel frame, pushes the weight well over 250 pounds. It's sturdy enough that it won't wobble during a heated game, but it also means moving it is a serious chore. The table does come with 2 heavy-duty casters, which are a nice touch for rolling it a few feet for cleaning, but you'll still need at least 2 strong people to shift it for a different layout or to store it away. If you're hoping for a piece you can roll out for the weekend and tuck into a closet during the week, this isn't the model for you. So who should actually buy the Fulton? If you have a dedicated game room, a spacious basement, or a large living area where you entertain friends regularly, this table fits the bill. It shines at weekend barbecues, birthday parties, or casual who can get closest to the edge competitions that keep both adults and kids engaged. The rustic black finish gives it a lounge-like vibe, so it blends well with a farmhouse or industrial decor, making it look less like a piece of sports equipment and more like a conversation starter. Families that enjoy low-tech, skill-based games will appreciate the low entry barrier. Just set the pucks, wax the surface, and you're ready to play. Conversely, if you're living in a studio, a one-bedroom apartment, or a house where the living room doubles as a home office, you'll likely end up with a table that dominates the space. Also, if you're after a tournament-grade table with built-in scoring rails, adjustable footings for uneven floors, or a built-in storage compartment for accessories, the Fulton falls short. Those features are typically found on higher-priced models aimed at serious players, and you'll need to look elsewhere if that's your priority. Another group to skip this one are people who want a portable, fold-away design. The Fulton is meant to stay put and be a permanent fixture. In terms of daily usability, the table is surprisingly low maintenance once you get the wax routine down. I found that a thin layer of wax before each game, and a quick rewax after a month of frequent use, keeps the surface fast. The pucks themselves feel solid, they're heavier than the plastic discs you get in cheap kits, which gives a more satisfying clack when they hit the scoring zone. The